Greetings, Starfighter. You are about to listen to the totally super awesome 80s Reboot Overdrive podcast. Always remember, no matter where you go, there you are. Ready Player One.
Turn it on. Leave it on. America, see the music you want to see.
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV. I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
24 hours a day on cable TV.
Stereo, interview, guest BJ, tour day, world premiere videos, national music news. I want my MTV, MTV, MTV.
Yeah, too much is never enough.
By the way, this picking out these albums was like really, really, really difficult.
And that's exactly
it really was
the exact same exercise that we had when we did it the first time.
Yeah.
And so we figured, why not share the love?
Okay.
Yeah, for me it wasn't hard. For me, there were three albums that were very influential to me in the 80s, and yeah, that was easy, but...
Well, I had a list of like 12.
Oh yeah, I had a huge list, but I knew these...
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a question. Did anyone else do soundtracks besides me? Is our soundtrack acceptable?
Soundtracks are acceptable, yes. They're considered an
I didn't
album.
know if you wanted...
Purple Rain is a soundtrack.
And soundtrack? Right.
Yeah.
I kind of did, but not really. You'll find out. When
I'll go along with the soundtrack. I'm good with that.
Okay. You're good? Okay.
All right.
Let me guess. Dirty Dancing?
No, that's a good one, though.
Yeah.
That should have been on my list.
Dirty Dancing was on mine, my expanded one. Little Shop of Horrors.
It's got to be Purple Rain, because it's on my list.
Purple Rain is on my list. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had Xanadu on my list.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, I had Grease.
Grease, yeah.
Xanadu made the list? Are you serious?
Yes, I love
Wow.
that
Oh,
soundtrack.
that's awesome.
It's not on my top 5, but it was on my long list. ELO, come on. That was
I
amazing.
had Footloose on my long list, too.
Yeah.
I've got so much material now before we even do the introductions. It's fantastic.
Well, I mean, I can give you my expanded list, like stuff that didn't make it. We should give all our stuff that didn't make it, like the runners up. Just
I'm still not sure what my top 3 are going to be. I'm just going to wing it here.
Honorable mentions list.
Yeah.
I just can't decide.
I have mine all listed out here next to me.
All right, well, let's do this first. We'll do the intros first.
Sure, of course.
So this is 80s Reboot Overdrive. I will be driving the bus here. My name is Dave. So some of you may be familiar with me if you listen to our podcast. But today I have just the unique, wonderful opportunity to have 3 lovely ladies joining me. And what we're doing is we're expanding our top 3 80s albums, which we've done previously. And after we got done with it, we realized that it was very one-sided towards the guy perspective. In my case, I went more commercial, and then we had Jesse on, and he was a little more of the very thought-provoking songwriting kind of vibe. And then we had Scott on, who was very heavy metal. And we realized at the end of it, nobody even brought up things like Madonna or Prince, or things along that. So we thought, we've got to expand this and see what comes up of it. And so we scoured the earth and we found 3 lovely ladies that said, yes, we'll do that with you. We're crazy enough to get our voices on the internet. And today we've got Karen.
Hello.
We've got Cheryl.
Hello.
And Kelly.
Hey.
So first off, let's just do a quick little introduction. Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name's Karen. I do the Fandom Zone with Charles Skaggs. If you don't know what that is, I'm into like comic book TV shows and all that stuff. I do like a zillion other podcasts too, but that's the one I do here.
All in 1 week?
Yeah, I do a lot.
That's crazy.
I have
5. Just doing more than 2.
I have 5 podcasts this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm crazy.
Well, at least you're having fun.
Well, yeah. I'm retired. quote unquote.
Oh, you're lucky. That's nice.
All right, so Cheryl, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I am married, mother of 2 young kids. I work in education, so this is a completely new thing for me here. Stepping out of my comfort zone here, trying something new, but I'm a total 80s nerd, and so Dave identified that in me immediately and invited me to do this with him. I love karaoke. Hope that's not a deal breaker for anyone.
And she's great at it, by the way.
You know what it means can't sing, right? That's literally what it means, can't sing.
Oh, really? That's
yes.
funny. I didn't know that was the literal translation, but that makes sense. That's funny. So my hobby is can't singing.
Yes, there you go.
And one day I would like to start a mom's rock band.
Oh,
I
awesome.
joined.
That's my goal. So, Dave, I'll be recruiting your wife for that one day. So,
very good.
Let her know that's coming up. Yeah.
I'll tell her.
Okay.
We'll have to get her learning an instrument.
Yeah, come on, that's the easy part. We'll figure out something for her to play. Give her a tambourine.
There you go. All right, Kelly, how about you?
Well, let's see. I'm a mom of a teenager and went to high school in the 80s, so that'll kind of give you my vintage. I also co-host a couple podcasts before the bat with Phil and Tyler, and also Flashpoint and Queen Consolidated with Lilith, so that you can find here on Southgate Media Group.
A lot of great shows there. And in fact, I was even on Before the Bat once, so it was a lot of fun.
It is a whole lot of fun. And totally different when you podcast with guys and girls. So, I both.
As I'm sure I'll find out tonight.
You shall.
So the assignment was coming up with our top 3 80s albums. I know when I did this originally, it was so tough to kind of decide, how to put that criteria and. Out of all the great albums and songs that were in the 80s, how do you just pick a top 3? Now, when I was going through it, my thought process was an album that I could listen to the whole thing without fast forwarding through a song. Because, of course, we were in the era of cassette tapes, and it was a little difficult to try to figure that out, where that song ended and get that fast forward just right. But, that was kind of my criteria, and that's how I picked mine. But I'd like to find out how each of you decided on your top 3 albums. So, Karen?
All right. So I just pick one. Mine are in no particular order. First, I'm going to pick Kilroy Was Here by Styx. This record, every once in a while, it would kind of freak me out because of all the weirdness on it. But I listened to it a lot, and it was my first experience with Easter eggs. Little things that you find in an album that aren't promoted. And I still love that to this day, like little things you find on a DVD or stuff that's like web content from a TV show you see a little web address on a TV show and you go to that web address and all that. So that's why I love that album. And I have some favorite tracks. Are we doing that favorite track thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. Don't Let It End, Haven't We Been Here Before, and High Time are my 3 favorite tracks.
No Mr. Roboto?
Nope. I did not like that song.
Mr. Roboto.
Oh, it was way overplayed, so it really got on my nerves. But I like the power ballads instead of the Mr. Roboto.
Yeah, I think, I'm just very familiar with the one that just probably got the most airplay. Of course, Mr. Roboto. So I'm going to have to go back and listen to those other ones.
Don't Let It End. It's really good.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. Okay, I know that one.
And then, Haven't We Been Here Before? There's that one.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too. What about Babe? Was that not on that one?
No, that was in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after this album, I almost picked Paradise Theater, which was the album after this, but it didn't have that little twist. Paradise Theater had Too Much Time on My Hands on it. But that was a more conventional album. Kilroy Was Here was supposed to be a concept album. Other than the beginning and the end track, which were the same, Don't Let It End and then Don't Let It End Redux, there was no story in the middle. It was just told from the perspective of the two characters. It didn't actually continue the story. So that was an interesting thing. It was supposed to be this big epic story of, oh no, the robots are coming to take over. But if you listen to the tracks on the inside, it was just those characters talking, but they weren't actually talking about that story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Cheryl? What's your first pick?
Oh, God. The pressure. Okay. This is really tough. I'll go with Cyndi Lauper. She's so unusual.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Thanks. A lot of my picks bring me back to 1984, 1985. For some reason, I seem to always remember being in fourth grade listening to all these songs. I don't know why fourth grade was such a pivotal year for me music-wise, but I think kind of 1984 was a pivotal year music-wise. But Cyndi Lauper was just, she was so cool. She had that red hair, kind of that waffle cut, shaved head thing in the side of her head. It looked like a waffle, but I really wanted to do it in my head.
Did you do the punk rock costume with the trash bag that year?
I did not. I was actually going to tell that story later because I found myself in a dilemma that year for Halloween. Didn't know if I should be Cyndi Lauper or Madonna for Halloween. It was really a tough choice for me. So I actually wound up going with Madonna that year, as much as the garbage bag would have looked great on me, I'm sure.
Yes.
Right, I guess I went with Madonna because I really was into lace fingerless gloves and jelly bracelets, and
they're back again.
that seemed more appealing to me. But no, I love Cyndi Lauper. And I remember one of my friends was in a talent show, and she dressed up as Cyndi Lauper, and she was up there on stage, and she was just, she nailed it, and I hated her. I'm so jealous. Like, I want to do that. I want to be you. Cyndi Lauper. I guess my favorite songs from her album, obviously, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which then inspired a pretty awesome movie a few years later. Still one of my faves. You've seen that one, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Time After Time, and Shebop.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't remember, Cheryl, on your birthday, we went to karaoke. Did you do Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
I don't remember a lot from my birthday.
Okay. All right.
It's possible.
That's a whole different other podcast, right?
That is the best answer ever.
That was my 40th birthday, in my defense. But
she was owning the mic. I gotta give you that, but I just don't remember what song she did. So that's, yeah.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun is in my rotation. I don't remember if I sang it that night, but it's very possible.
I would have done Time After Time. I love that song.
Oh, I know. I love that one too. That is a good one. I think we were in like an upbeat kind of dance party mood, so I probably went with the other one. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Shebop. Does anybody know Shebop?
Yep.
Oh,
Shebop.
yeah. Well, you know Shebop. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I bop, you bop, and they bop.
Yep, that's right.
Interesting note about Shebop, I found out years later as an adult from Dave, actually, I found out from Scott's wife, Chrissy, what that song is really about. And I'm not going to say what it's about.
Oh, is that what it's about?
Yes.
Does everybody know?
I do.
Is that what you were talking about now?
Yeah, well, yeah, ironically enough, here I am bringing up that topic again, but I'm not going to say what it's about, but you guys can all look it up. Everyone listening, go look it
Oh.
All I can say is, as a fourth grader, I would have been just appalled to know what that song is really about.
I find that I was very blissfully ignorant in the 80s too. So, hey.
So let's
Right.
say that song is about the same thing that Turning Japanese is about.
I did not know that one.
Yeah,
I didn't either. What's
that
this?
is the same topic.
Really?
Yes.
I had no idea.
You didn't know
Wow.
that. Okay, that is the same topic. So you know.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I was in fourth grade when this song came out. So were you in high school then when this
Yes.
song came out?
I almost graduated
so was
high
that-
school.
Okay, so was it
graduated,
common
yes.
knowledge in high school what that song was
No,
about?
I had no idea.
You didn't know? Okay.
No.
Just wondering,
Absolutely not.
Okay, I always wonder, was I, how in the dark was I? Being
No, we
in
used
grade
to
school in
dance
the
to
80s?
it. La la.
Right.
Used to be in our dances, and I had absolutely no idea. No.
Okay. And how do we know that it really is about that? Maybe that's just the urban legend.
It might be. Turning Japanese, however, is not. The people who wrote that song have.
Okay.
Ask Cindy on Twitter. She's often on there and she answers lots of questions.
We should.
Yes.
I'm going to do that.
She's very nice.
Interesting.
I've tweeted with her before.
Really?
So-
Oh, I'm jealous. I hate you too.
She's so unusual.
She
I'd
is
be
unusual.
awestruck.
You are correct.
I don't even think I could Twitter with her. I'd be like,
She's
I've
really
had some
sweet.
of those.
And you have a whole lot of time to think of those 140 characters, so it's not like you're going,
Right.
It's true. This is true.
All right, so now we're on to Kelly's pick.
Well, I'm going to be pretty specific. I'm going to go with the 1983 second release on Capitol Records of Thomas Dolby's Golden Age of Wireless. Which was
They're
had
so
the
good.
extended version of She Blinded Me with Science. I love this entire album. Listen to it beginning to end. I can still sing every song on this album word for word. Loved She Blinded Me with Science, Radio Silence, Flying North, Europa and the Pirate Twins, Wind Power, One of Our Submarines. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Amazing. And I think it was because at that time I was kind of coming into my own as a musician. And so I could really get into the whole... these are very complex. A lot of these songs are very complex in their musicality. I could play along with them, which was a lot of fun.
Cool.
So they were very challenging to me as a musician and kind of opened my mind to the idea of... Thomas Dolby is very into collaboration and collaborating with all kinds of other artists. And I don't know if you know much about him now, but he actually has a platform where people all over the world can collaborate online in musical projects, which is really awesome.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Pretty cool.
He's still innovating all these years later, but the album was fantastic. And I wore out my first copy on vinyl. Yeah. So I had to replace it with that exact same release, because that was the one that did come with it was changed, actually. Took out the Wreck of the Fairchild and they added One of Our Submarines and the short version of She Blinded Me with Science as well. So they changed this release up.
Wow.
Great choice. I love Thomas Dolby.
I do like that song. She Blinded Me with Science. I don't know the other two, but
You're gonna have
I remember
to
that
listen to the
song.
rest of that album now.
I'm gonna have to.
It's a pretty amazing album.
I just keep remembering the video where he was running around like in the lunatic asylum.
Oh, my tubes and wires.
He is a musician's musician, for sure.
Yes.
I've seen a special on him where he talks about all these side projects he has for helping young musicians to make it and to do things on the cheap and things like that.
Oh yeah, and he's I got to see him when he had a master class at Sweetwater, and really interesting guy. Does a lot to help musicians collaborate, and I think that's wonderful, because you can if somebody's got a computer in Africa, and you need somebody with tribal drums, there you go. You can anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter. we're all the same. We can all communicate through music, and that's kind of his whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I love that concept. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that my friends and I would always debate when that song was on the radio. Is it She Blinded Me with science or silence?
Science.
Science.
She hit me with technology.
Okay, that shows my. I have no
And
idea.
if you actually look at the titles on the album, you will see it is science.
It's science, okay? Because we would always argue, like, no, it's silence. No, it's science.
It is science.
Yeah.
Okay, science. Got it. That settles that.
His lab coat would attest to that.
Yes.
I don't recall a video. I just remember hearing it on the radio.
Oh, you need to look at the video.
She goes again. She's
The video.
talking about
Yeah,
I can't find anything.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, that video definitely got a lot of airplay on MTV back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember the day that MTV came on the air.
Yep. Me too.
And
It was
they
like
used to play
September
music back
24th.
then.
Yeah, it was actually on my birthday.
Oh, that's
Really?
nice.
Wow.
I was
What year was
babysitting-
it? What year did it come on?
Oh goodness.
80 early?
Let me look here. I can tell you.
It was when
I
there
remember
was-
about the time. I don't know.
We had a
the day or the
dial
year, but I
on the
remember.
cable box.
Oh well, I didn't
Right.
even have cable. The only reason I got to see it was because I had to babysit,
Oh.
and the place where I was babysitting had cable. And yeah, let's see here.
1981.
Yep, 1981.
Yeah.
Okay.
My Google skills are faster than yours.
Yeah, I guess so.
I remember my mom saying, "We haven't decided yet if we're going to let you watch this channel." So. No one knew what it was, you know?
Back then, before there were parental controls.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We just got every channel no matter what because our cable box just turned to the channels, you know.
Yes.
They didn't have a way to filter things out. So
Right.
as soon as MTV came on, it was like channel 6, and you just turned the dial to channel 6. Click, click.
And remember Snow?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Kids don't know what that is
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could kind of make out Grease if I put it in between the two.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's where the TV people live.
That's right.
All right, we're going to start talking about Poltergeist now. Let's watch it now.
Yeah,
All
that's where I was going.
All right, so Karen, what is your next pick?
Okay, this one is super selfish of me. It's the Broadway album by Barbra Streisand. And this is my almost soundtrack thing that I was talking about. Now, here's why I picked it. I was a choir geek in high school when this came out. And we were on a trip. We took a trip up through New England. I'm in the Northern Virginia area. We went up through New England, so New York City, to Vermont, and then to Maine, and then back down. And in New York City, we were on the bus, and we were listening to this album on my boombox, because I was the one who had it, and that's when we had boomboxes and everything. And we were all singing along, and the song Someday came on. From West Side Story, yes. And I kind of got lost in it, and my teacher was sitting nearby. And she said, "If you don't sing that at our last concert, I will kill you."
Wow.
I said, all right, I guess I'll sing it at our last concert.
You must have been pretty good.
Yeah, well, not anymore, but then I had a really good range. And it was my senior concert, and so it was the last song I ever got to sing in high school was Someday from West Side Story, and it was the Barbra Streisand version. So it was a really, really great memory for me. So obviously that is my favorite song on that album. I also liked If I Loved You. That was from Carousel. Not While I'm Around, which is from Sweeney Todd, and Can't Help Loving That Man, and that's from Showboat.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out because I love Barbra Streisand, but I don't even know that album.
Oh, it's
I don't
so
know that
good. And it's all Broadway
Broadway.
standards.
Cool.
There's one song that's like a mashup of 3 different Broadway songs, and it's so good. Gives me chills every time I listen to it.
How about Memory? I love when she sings Memory.
No, it's not. None of her songs are on there. They're all from other composers. And she got each composer that's still alive to remix the song for her so that it would be written just for her.
Rearrange,
Yeah, rearrange
Okay.
it. Yeah.
That sounds like her.
You're welcome.
I couldn't think of the word.
Well, sure. If Barbara calls you
great.
to do that, right? I mean, of course you
Yes.
would do that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do it. Yeah.
Babs.
All right, Cheryl, your turn.
Okay, so as I alluded to earlier, Madonna would be my second pick. She was very influential right around the 4th grade era. Like a Virgin would be the album that I played over and over again. And it was the album that I had at that time. You know, I just have such memories of, I don't know if you guys remember, but she performed Like a Virgin at the very first MTV Video Music Awards.
Oh, yes.
Wearing that wedding dress and just crawling around the stage, and you know, I still remember it and actually tried to reenact it recently in a karaoke night.
Oh boy.
I mean, it wasn't that recently, but I did try to reenact it.
That did not happen at the 40th birthday.
That was not at my 40th. That was closer to my 30th. But,
She actually remembers it, so you know.
Exactly.
I remember it. It was with someone else. I didn't make a fool of myself by myself, or 2 of us up there calling around. She was awesome, and her, you know, her little lace gloves and her lace bows and her, you know, jelly bracelets. I just had to have it all. And when it was Halloween, like I said, I had a big decision to make. Am I going to be Cyndi Lauper or Madonna? And I went for Madonna because, you know, I get to dress like a slut and go to school. No one can do anything about it because I'm wearing my Halloween costume. It was like the one day I got to wear all the makeup I wanted to school, and I remember it very vividly.
And how many jelly bracelets did you have?
Oh God! They just
Did
went
you
on
wear
my
them on
arm.
both
I don't
arms?
even know. Probably. I
totally did.
don't know. Probably 50. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like hot pink, black. A lot of hot pink and black.
And the jelly shoes.
Jelly shoes. Now I didn't wear the big cross because I'm Jewish. That would have been really wrong. So I couldn't go there, but I had every other accessory down to a T. So
I think you forgive
like yeah, God would have forgiven me anyway. He would have been okay probably, but I don't think my grandma would have liked it if he saw that.
Yeah.
So let's see, Like a Virgin, Lucky Star would be my other favorite song on that album, and of course Material Girl. Love that one too.
Very nice. I like the video to Material Girl very much.
Mm-hmm. I know. I can still remember that too, with that beautiful kind of, I don't know what color dress it was, kind of a pinkish kind of a color.
Yep.
Yeah,
the
kind of a pinky
Monroe thing. Yep.
when all the men lined up, and yeah,
Great video.
It was a good video.
All right, Kelly, you're up next.
I'm going to continue the Madonna party.
Uh-oh.
1996, True Blue.
86?
96.
86.
86, sorry. 86.
That's all right.
It's been a long day.
It's okay. I'm just making sure we're all in the 80s.
86, yes. This is another one that, I actually had transitioned out of vinyl at this point and was listening on cassette so I could take it with me in my Walkman. Because we were, mobile by then. And, yes, I didn't have...
Those were high-tech. I
had the knockoff $100 Walkman.
Oh.
But mine would actually record.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
Oh, it had the record button. Very good.
Yes. Most of them didn't have that. So it was actually kind of cool that way. But that album contained all kinds of huge hits. Papa Don't Preach, Open Your Heart, Live to Tell, Where's the Party, True Blue, La Isla Bonita, Love Makes the World Go Round. There's
Oh my gosh, you're convincing me. I'm going to change mine to True Blue. That was a good album.
Yeah, I mean it was a powerhouse of an album. And I can remember playing it over and over and over again, and my mom pounding on my door and just begging me to turn it off because she couldn't turn it down. Oh yeah. I had a stereo by this time. You know, I had a record changer. Okay, serious big time my vinyl, and I had a 30-watt stereo, and I could make my walls vibrate. It was pretty great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
This is all before CDs weren't even invented.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't come out commercially until 89. So way before
Wow.
CD.
So Kelly was rocking the record changer and the record button on her Walkman.
Wow.
To high tech.
Very
Yeah.
Hey, but I had the big blue Sony Walkman, so
That's cool though. See, my parents they wouldn't spend the money to get the real Sony one. So
my parents wouldn't either. My big brother got it for me.
that's cool. See, we went to the big flea market.
Oh
where they
yeah,
had all the
yeah,
knockoffs.
yeah.
And there's a huge one up here in a place called Shipshewana that everybody comes to because it's a big Amish area and flea market. And so, yeah. And got one there.
I was living out in California at the time, and we went to the Rose Bowl flea market, and that's where I got a bunch of cutout albums all the time, where they had a clip out.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I used to buy 45s from a guy who was the guy who went around and put the 45s in jukeboxes.
Mm-hmm.
And so after they had played, I could get my 45s for, 50 cents a buck, you know? And I'd go to town.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go to the flea market, man, I'd come back with a great big stack of vinyl.
Yep.
These, cool.
The cutout albums were like stuff that was used on radio stations.
Right.
Things like that. So, yeah, it was great. I loved it there. Again, 1980s stuff.
And poor Cheryl couldn't even watch MTV because her parents wouldn't let her. So
I know, right?
Well, I didn't have cable.
I know.
I could
It was
only
a
watch
while before I was censored. It was a cruel childhood.
All right, so we're going around the horn again. Karen, what's your next pick?
All right. Here it comes. Queen the Game. And this started my lifelong love affair with Queen and Freddie Mercury that persists to this day. I have never before and still have yet to find anyone with a voice like his. Remarkable and amazing, and I envy his talent. My favorite tracks are Save Me, Play the Game, and Crazy Little Thing Called Love. So I just love Freddie Mercury so hard.
I've gotten a resurgence of Queen love because I suddenly, got back into like loving the song One Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now, I think my favorite Queen song, it wouldn't count in this podcast because it's not from the 80s, but it's Don't Stop Me Now. Don't Stop Me Now. It's a little before this. It's in the 70s. It's very cheesy, but it's also kind of dirty, which is what I love about it. But these songs, the game also has We Will Rock You and all that on it.
Yeah, that's that one I know.
Yeah, those were so overused at like football games and stuff when I was in high school.
They still are.
Still is.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Still
This is when I was in high school too. So it was like, I don't want to hear that anymore. Every time we
don't want to play it anymore.
Right, they're banging on the bleachers, and my head hurts. So I liked all these other songs much more. So, but this album was amazing. I played this over and over, and I had all of the Queen albums. I still have all of them on my hard drive. So, I love them.
Is Bohemian Rhapsody not on the game?
No, it's not. It's earlier.
It's not on that one. Okay.
It's in the 70s.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And we had joked about doing 70s groovy Overdrive, but we just haven't executed that one yet.
Dude, I'd be on that if you did a
I'd
girl
totally
set.
approve too. Yep.
I would so be on a 70s one.
All right, Cheryl, you're next up.
All right, so I'm going to go with a soundtrack for this one. Prince Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm.
I played that cassette tape over and over and over again. I'll go ahead and tell a story here. Hope it's not too inappropriate. One of my favorite songs is Darling Nikki, okay, which you all may be familiar with. Mm-hmm. And my friend and I, back to fourth grade again, we wrote out the song lyrics to Darling Nikki, but instead of putting Nikki in it, we put the word Kenny in it because we had a crush on this boy named Kenny. So, it would say, like, I knew a boy named Kenny, I guess you can say he was a sexy, all this business. We wrote it out. And, then we wrote out Master Baby with a magazine because we didn't know, what the real word was. So we wrote down Master Baby with a magazine. We had no idea what that meant, but we wrote it down.
Oh my goodness.
We put the lyrics in my Michael Jackson purse. And one day my mom went through my purse, which I can't believe she did to this day, but she invaded my privacy as a fourth grader and went through my purse and found these lyrics and was just, as you can imagine, because she didn't know it came from a song. She thought that I had wrote out these, very erotic lyrics about Kenny.
You just could not resist.
Yeah, the whole right.
When you saw little Kenny.
Right. Yeah. Then it made little Kenny grind. Exactly. I wrote the whole thing out.
Oh my goodness.
And so I got talked to that day, and I had to, show my mom the lyrics to the song to prove to her it was from a song. I swear to God.
Oh, and it's not like there was internet or anything where you could just look it up. And you had to actually
for the liner notes, because back then all the words were printed in the liner notes.
Right.
It was in the right. I'm sure I must have gotten the liner notes and given it to her to prove to her that her precious little innocent fourth grader did not come up with that on her own. That whole album was, just a very sexually charged type of album, especially for a fourth grader to be affiliated with, but it spoke to me, I guess, on some level. Maybe it was some kind of awakening at the fourth grade level, but it was like, like When Doves Cry was a very, very erotic song, and I do remember that video. I mean, I recall him like looking at himself in a mirror and licking himself or something, and it was crazy.
Yeah, but it just doesn't occur to you when you're that young.
Yeah, I was a sports. I'd never seen anything like that, and so it was I guess it was impactful, but it was also not just the sexual tones, but it was great music. I mean, it was just, all the songs on that album are awesome, and so I was just dying to see the movie when it came out. But you think I was allowed to see it?
and Prince, he's such
finally
amazing musician.
After begging and begging and begging, my mom finally let me watch it, but she fast forwarded the sex scenes, so I saw all the sex scenes and fast forward.
I bet that was a sight.
Right.
Probably
I
more.
Remember that? Like,
probably more
it might have been more
fast forward.
Right. It was probably more traumatic for me.
Right. Much weirder that way.
Right. yeah, very, very awesome album. Very impactful on my childhood, whether it be positive or negative. I don't know. Jury's still out, but it was impactful on my childhood.
Well, I mean, knowing what we know about your 40th birthday party, it seems like it might have been bad. Who knows?
Right. Ironically enough, I don't think I've ever sang a Prince song karaoke.
No,
I
I'm
don't
just
think I've done that.
Crazy.
You're giving me an idea, though.
No, you know, the callback is the funniest thing. You got to take a callback opportunity when you can.
Yeah, you guys, Let's Go Crazy, definitely. That one's for you, Cheryl.
There we go.
You could party like
Let's
it's
Go Crazy.
1999.
Oh, yeah, 1999. Yeah. Yeah. Great album.
All right, so Kelly,
that's my story.
Kelly, you gotta follow up that story. See what you got.
Well, I actually have a story about this one. 1982, and I had gone to spend a week in Chicago in the big city, because I'm from a very rural area, with a good friend that lived in Chicago. And I waited in line outside Peach's record store in Chicago for 2 hours to get my hands on Thriller the day it came out.
I knew someone would pick Thriller. I just
That album, oh my goodness, Want to Be Starting Something, Baby Be Mine, The Girl Is Mine, Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature, PYT. How many number ones came off that album? It was crazy.
Yeah.
And, you still hear, everybody knows how to do the Thriller.
Yep.
My daughter, who is 14, knows how to do the dance from Thriller.
Wow.
Everybody knows Beat It, Yep.
Yeah.
It's just it was a phenomenon, really. Not just an album. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Thriller.
Good pick. That was on my long list, too. That was a very good pick.
I love the Vincent Price part in that song.
Yeah. Well, and you had PYT. You had The Girl Is Mine. Paul McCartney on The Girl Is Mine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had a lot of people kind of collaborating, and this was kind of the first grown-up Michael Jackson album.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And how many girls had that poster on their bedroom bedroom wall?
And guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did not.
Mm-hmm.
I had a different one than most people had. I don't know if you guys remember the one of him in the yellow sweater. It's like a yellow, like sweater vest. I had that one.
That was on my Michael Jackson purse.
There you go.
With the yellow sweater. That was my Michael Jackson purse.
I had boring leather purses, you guast.
Everything is going to go back to that Michael Jackson purse.
Yeah. And what's in it?
Right, and the contents of the said Michael Jackson purse.
Prince lyrics.
Oh my God.
And wishes for her 40th birthday party. All written down. Here's what I want to do on my 40th birthday party.
And somebody needs to get me a Michael Jackson purse.
It's like a time capsule. I wish I still had it.
I was going to ask.
I don't.
Why?
What else is in
Why?
There. Why, Mom? Did you throw away my most treasured item?
Probably worth like $100 or something. Yeah.
Tell them that it's human nature.
It's human
it
nature.
is human nature. It is. You're right.
So I gotta ask. I mean, we're reminiscing about Michael, but I mean, he got really kind of weird, over the years.
You can say that.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's putting it very nicely, obviously.
Yeah. This was back when Michael Jackson was still a black man.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it sounds weird, but my daughter.
Just a normal guy. He was a normal guy.
Well, I wouldn't know that he was. I don't think he was ever normal. I mean,
I mean, the album wise.
Yeah. I just feel bad that it just seems to me like there was nobody that loved him enough in his life to tell him the truth. You know what I'm saying? People would just kind of go along with whatever, and because of the fame and the money, and it's just his story has always been a sad one to me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I kind of choose to believe like what he evolved into is just not what he was before. Like, I have a certain Michael Jackson preserved in my mind, and it's not the one that he turned out to be. He kind of just evolved into a different person because of life circumstances and yada, yada, yada. But I kind of separate, like, there's two different Michael Jacksons in my head.
I remember when my daughter saw my Thriller album and saw the name, and she didn't put two and two together. She didn't realize it was the same person.
Yeah.
And that's not been that long ago.
He looked completely different.
True.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
His father is a piece of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's about 99% of what his problems were.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So
All
there's
right.
my soapbox.
You gotta question anybody that comes into fame as young as that. A lot of people that achieve fame at that such an early age, and other people are able to run their life for them, and how much of a curse that can be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do kind of believe the theory that he didn't have much of a childhood. And so as he got older, like, that's why he surrounded himself with, ponies and Neverland and children. And I can see that being, valid.
Yeah. I have a
He
little
wanted
bit
to have
of
the
that
childhood he never had.
disease. I mean, I still read comic books and play video games.
Uh-huh.
So,
Right.
I mean, I can't really
I cosplay
too much for that, but
I'm
There's-
44 and I cosplay.
right.
Who cares?
They're taking it a little too far, but yeah.
Right. I don't know.
All right. So,
But,
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say this. Doing a Thriller flash mob is actually on my bucket list.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
That would be really
If I could find one in my area, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I get a kick out of the album. On this album, it actually says Michael Jackson, co-producer, lead and background vocals, drum case beater, bathroom stomp board, vocal, drum machine, horn, and string arrangement.
All right, then.
he was
Kitchen sink.
He was everything.
And they used
Yeah.
a Porta Sound keyboard on this, which is pretty crazy. A little Casio keyboard
Nice.
on Wanna Be Starting Something. Yeah.
I had one of those.
All right. So, what I wanted to ask is there any honorable mentions that we didn't talk about that you wanted to bring up? We'll start with Karen.
Oh, man, I had so many. Let's go with the soundtrack. I mentioned Xanadu earlier, but I think Little Shop of Horrors soundtrack was a big deal for me. I think it's the first time I realized I could sing in a higher range. There's some male songs on there that I can also sing, but like the higher range. And then one of my goals in life was to do the beginning to Downtown. There's a woman who sings the very opening lines of Downtown. And I feel like I would be awesome at that. Just that one line.
When you're alone in life. Yes.
No. Not
that one.
Not that one, no. Skid Row. It's Skid Row. Sorry.
I gotcha.
Skid Row. And it's really good. Its alarm goes off at 7 and it's 9 a.m. Anyway, it's a really great song, but she just wails on this opening line, and it's like, when I'm in my car and I sing along, I'm awesome. And I know if I actually got on a stage and sang it, my voice would waver and I'd be so nervous. But it's one of those things that I'm like, I have 5 singing things on my bucket list. That's one. And singing in a Disney movie is another. And, there's just a few things. But Little Shop of Horrors is one of those things that's I can sing every song on the album. And I feel like I sing them really well. And my husband loves it when I sing along because he's like, "You're awesome." So
that's cool.
That's a really good one for me, I think.
I actually just saw that play recently.
I think they're
area.
really good.
Every time I think of Little Shop of Horrors, I'm always thinking of Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, in the dentist scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
That was a good
I
movie.
think I need a long, slow root canal.
Perfect. Right.
That's the one with Feed Me, Seymour, right? I remember that.
Yep.
My dad loved that. He would always go, Feed Me, Seymour.
Suddenly Seymour.
All right, Cheryl, you got any honorable mention?
Yes, I do. One of them, though, is not quite from the 80s. Grease, the soundtrack of Grease. I know it came out in the 70s, but for
close.
Those who were children of the 80s, we listened to Grease constantly. It was still a big impact on my friends and my childhood. I actually wore out the 8-track 3 times. So it's I was just a humongous Olivia Newton-John fan, and John Travolta, and I wanted to be her. And me and my friends would play Pink Ladies like at recess, and I wanted to be Sandy so bad. And it was just, and the songs are awesome. It's the greatest love story ever. So Grease would have been, that's one honorable mention. And the other one is Footloose. Footloose was like, oh my gosh, I listened to that. That was a cassette tape for me. That was cassette tape era. And, Holding Out for a Hero, Waiting for a Girl Like You was in that one. Kenny Loggins, Heaven Help Me. What's that song? Heaven Helps the Man. Just great songs. And just all that teenage angst that I wasn't young enough to quite understand yet. I was still in grade school, but I was like, yeah. That girl standing out in the train tracks and screaming her head off. And
I heard it's the word, and you got to cut loose.
Mm-hmm.
You see how I did that?
I did.
Yes.
Very good.
Movies together.
I see how you did that. So,
little mash up there.
Those are my
Very good.
I am the worst.
Well, before I admit my undying love for Olivia Newton-John, we'll go on to Kelly.
Dave, I knew I liked you. I was in her fan club. We're going to have to talk later.
Oh, very good. We'll do a whole topic on Olivia.
Hopeless.
We can.
I had physical.
Did you ever see Two of a Kind? Am I the only person on earth? Or
I saw that.
You saw
that?
Okay. No one ever knows that movie.
Yeah, that was the exercise movie, right? Wasn't it? Or no, that wasn't that one.
No, that was where there was a bank robber type of a movie. It was like
I know
cheesy,
I saw it.
Yeah. Easy, but it paired up my two favorite people again. So
John Travolta, yeah.
I loved it.
I know he was in it.
All right, so Kelly?
Well, I got two. Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
GNR, go. Awesome.
And the Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And that introduced me to a lot of old music.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I tended to for a while. I mean, that's kind of the stuff I listened to for a while. And still do. In fact, I love electro swing now. I'm huge into electro swing. So, kind of from that.
That whole...
retro kind of, yeah.
Yeah. It was... What was the name of that place? Was it Kellerman's?
Kellerman's, yeah.
Yeah, Kellerman's.
Wow.
Kellerman's.
Friendships last long as the mountains.
I've actually been to the lodge, the one that they used in Mountain Lake, Virginia.
Oh, really?
Really?
I have. Yeah, it's up in the mountains near Roanoke. And you have to drive up this really windy mountain path to get up there. A friend of mine went to college at Virginia Tech, and we took trips up there and saw everything. It's very cool.
Wow. Remember, she goes, I carried a watermelon.
Well, there was this log that she had to balance across. And
Yep.
Yeah, it was like this dance thing going on, and yeah, it was crazy. Good times.
Great pick. Great soundtrack.
We should probably be wrapping this up. So, Allie, how can people get a hold of you on social media?
Karen.
Karen? Why did I say Allie?
Because that's my nickname.
Because I was looking at Skype again. That was my fault.
You know what?
Let's try that again.
That goes right into my social media because I am at Aliveria on Twitter. That's Aleveria because my nickname is Allie. And if you go into my bio there on my Twitter page, I have an About Me link, and that's where all my links are for everything. So you can find everything there.
Awesome. All right, Kelly.
You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and everywhere else that matters, really, at Super Squint. That's SuperSquint. And you can find more wonderful Southgate Media podcasts at SouthgateMediaGroup.com. That's right.
And Cheryl, actually, I know this is your first podcast, but do you have a Twitter account?
I do not have a Twitter account. I have no public social media outlet to speak of. So maybe Dave, just via your Overdrive site, I guess would be the only outlet.
Well, there you go. Yeah, if anybody wants to yell at Cheryl about her Michael Jackson purse, by all means, just tweet to us at 80s Reboot, and I'll make sure she gets the message.
That'll work. Maybe I'll get a Twitter account. We'll see. Well, this was fun.
This was great. You guys are fantastic.
God, I loved it.
Thank you.
We need to do this again sometime.
We are awesome ladies.
Definitely.
We made some good picks, I think.
Yep. You guys too.
and really, I think there's an Olivia Newton show in there too. So
yeah.
Oh, you can call me for that one.
Ladies of 70s rock.
We've got chills and they're multiplying.
Oh,
that's right.
Oh,
ladies of 70s rock. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, you got to throw some Joan Jett in there, though.
Of course.
We'd hate ourselves for loving you.
Oh, please don't stop doing that.
I'd like to give you guys a little more love, but I gotta go.
There you go.
My head hurts. Yeah.
All right. Well, good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
We hope you've enjoyed this show. This podcast is part of the 80s Reboot Overdrive channel on Southgate Media Group. You can follow us on Facebook on the 80s Reboot group page. We're also on Twitter and Tumblr at 80s Reboot. We invite you to check out all the wonderful podcasts and blogs available at SouthgateMediaGroup.com. And thank you for reliving the 80s.